The initial Board of Directors meeting for the Reston Association Board of Directors on April 10th.
Recording in progress.
Try it again. Good evening. This is the April 10th initial Board of Directors meeting, which is called solely for the purpose of electing officers. In light of that, we tend not to take member comments this evening, but proceed directly to the vote. So the election for officers begins with the nominations for president. Nominations are open.
I see I have on 2 sets of glasses. Clearly ready to work.
Director Johnson.
I'd like to nominate Director Mapar as president of the board.
Is there a second to the nomination?
Second.
Director Greiwich seconds. Any other nominations? Hearing and seeing none, I'll declare the nominations closed. We still need to vote. Council tells me. So, I'm sorry?
Oh, I apologize. I just got sound. Jalal, did you have sound before this?
No, I did not have sound. I missed everything.
The only
else
thing
that
I've
went
heard
before
is nominating Jalal. Nothing else has been heard.
No, it's the other way around. If he doesn't want it, you have to reject it. All right. There are no other nominations. I'll declare the nominations
I
closed.
don't know who was nominated. Can you not hear me?
We can hear you fine, Director Perry. Director Johnson nominated Director Mapar, and that nomination was seconded by Director Greiwich.
Okay, so this is the only thing that's been done. Thank you.
And there are no other nominations. Nominations are closed. My understanding from council is even though there's one nominee, we still have to vote. So you have some blank pieces of paper in front of you. Feel free to mark them as you would. And I'm sorry?
Text message, please.
Oh, text message for Director Mapar and Director Perry. To you, right? You and Brittany.
Brittany.
Right.
Can I vote by text? We can all vote by text if that's what we prefer.
If you don't prefer, you can vote by text. Either way, I'll understand.
Can someone put the text information in chat? Because I don't have it.
Do you have Tony and Brittany's email address from our text numbers from a past vote? Maybe not.
Not that I'm aware of.
I'll forward you the email, Margaret.
Oh, wait, hold on. One of you sent me something.
I'd like to point out that the agenda said member comments, but I came here to make some member comments.
Well, we typically don't take member comments the night of the organizational meeting, Joe.
Yeah, but
Can-
the agenda-
If we're to amend the agenda, we should probably amend the agenda and take a vote on that.
Well, I'm sorry. What do we want to let Mr. Layton talk while we're counting ballots?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I'll come up with the pass this stuff out. I think I have enough copies for everyone here, so let's pass it around. Yeah, first I want to congratulate the people who got elected to the board, the 4 people that got elected while this thing is being passed around. And my name is Joe Layton, and I live at 2033 Approach Lane, Reston, Virginia. And I'm waiting until everyone gets my thing, and then I'll continue talking.
Can you pull your mic a bit closer to be sure you can
Can you hear me? I probably need help from you to talk. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I said Joe Layton, 2033 Approach Lane, Reston, Virginia. There were 79 full-time employees in 2014. Now there are 107 full-time employees, and the RA membership only went up by 1%. The increases were as follows by department: maintenance 9, governance 8, recreation 7, communications 3, and capital projects 1. Maintenance increase is okay because seasonal positions were converted to full-time. One of the reasons recreation went up is because instead of having tennis instructors as contractors, The association made them employees. I wrote employee, I meant to say employees. In 2023, the tennis program lost $137,566.10. I recommend that you reduce the staff levels of the communications, covenants, and recreation departments. The savings and the reduction of full-time employees could be used to increase the wages of lifeguards. That way, the pools could be open more hours and more days. Because I frequently see signs saying you need new lifeguards. And I know one of the problems we've had is that the pools are not open enough hours on some of the days. And also, sometimes they went down to 5 days a week instead of 6 days a week, which is what they were when I was on the board. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Layton.
Since I signed up to speak, may I?
Please. We're all on tenterhooks for the outcome of the election.
Very good. Bob Petrine, 2503 Foxcroft Way. After last night's annual meeting, I was inspired. It was a very excellent meeting. It was very helpful. I thought it was the questions and issues that were raised were excellent. So I was inspired to come up with a ditty of my own. Is building a stronger Reston Association. Let's work together. Empowering leaders, streamlining operations for a thriving community. The Reston Association's strength lies in its clear structure. Our bylaws and resolutions create a framework for effective leadership and a well-managed organization, ultimately benefiting all residents. Officers leading the way. Our elected officers, President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer, each play a critical role. The President, as our leader of the Board of Directors, guides the meetings and ensures swift action with signing authority. The Vice President stands ready to step in seamlessly. The Secretary safeguards official records and legal compliance, while the Treasurer's financial expertise is essential. A CEO who delivers. Our bylaws clearly define the CEO's role. Managing daily operations and staff. This direct reporting line to the board fosters a clear chain of command, ensuring directives and strategies translate into action. Resolution 5, streamlining communication and maximizing efficiency. This resolution reinforces our structure. It discourages individual director contact with staff except when authorized by the CEO. This prevents bottlenecks and empowers staff to focus on their vital tasks. Resolution 5 also encourages directors to submit non-routine information requests through the full board. This ensures proper oversight while protecting staff from being overburdened. Together we thrive. Our governing documents create a unified system that empowers leadership, streamlines communications, and fosters efficiency. By embracing this structure, we can ensure that Reston Association operates effectively, serving the needs of our entire community. I encourage all the directors to revisit these guidelines and work collaboratively for the best interests of the community. Thank you very much. This is from the bylaws and from Resolution 5. It's all I really tried to do. It's something that I've wanted to do for the past 4 years, but for various reasons never got around to it, and now I did. Thank you very much.
Can you move down because I want to vacate the spot once the results are.
Anyone else?
You have everybody's vote, counsel?
Well, I'm waiting to confer with Brittany.
May I have a quick response to Mr. Petrine?
We've got nothing else going on.
Yeah. Bob, I was unable to be here in person last night, and so this is the first opportunity I have had to personally thank you for your 4 years of service on the board and particularly your service as treasurer. I'm delighted you're going to stay on the finance committee. You have been an integral part in making Reston Association work as well as it currently does. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, the president for the 2024-2025 session on board will be Director Mapar.
Congratulations, Director Mapar. We all wish you the very best in the coming year. The meeting is now yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I ask your indulgence to bear with me as my internet connection is not that strong. So if for any reason I get disconnected, I will try to join again, but I appreciate that. I did miss the first couple minutes of the meeting, so based on what I have been given in the packet, we do have quorum, and at this point, I'd like to ask for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Travis Johnson for the position of vice president.
And I second that.
I nominate Margaret Perry as vice president.
Point of order, Mr. President. You should be asking for someone other than yourself to second the nomination of Mr. Johnson.
I would be happy to second the nomination of Travis Johnson.
I just want to maintain regular order. Thank you.
She nominated herself.
Margaret nominated herself for vice president.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Margaret nominated herself for vice president. You need, Mr. Mapar, you need a second.
Is there a second?
I'm saying none.
I don't hear a second. I believe that nomination does not carry. Are we ready to vote?
Yes, if you're ready to vote.
I believe so.
Can we just confirm that there are no further nominations? Just nominations are closed. Thank you.
Do I have to accept the nomination?
Excuse me?
Do I have to accept the nomination as part of the process?
Well, ask him.
Do I have to accept the nomination as part of the process?
You can decline the nomination if you wish.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
So we're voting?
we're voting.
We're voting? Oh, Mr. President, I received correspondence today from the president of Little League. Opening day is this weekend, Saturday at the Pavilion. They're hoping that you would be present for that opening.
Director Farrell, as you know, I am out of the country until April 17th, and I would like to wait until the officer nominations have been completed, and then we'll decide on who would like to attend.
That's fine, I just wanted to let you know I'd gotten the email.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I see it up on the screen.
Mr. President, the nomination for Director Johnson did not pass. I would respectfully suggest that you reopen the nominations.
Okay, thank you, council. At this point, I guess we'll have to reopen the nomination for Vice President one more time. Are there any nominations for Vice President?
This is Director Perry. I again nominate myself.
Is there a second?
President Mopar, may I make another nomination?
Director Dodd, please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to nominate Trevor Grywich for Vice President.
I'll second that.
Yes, he will.
Director Grywich, do you accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations? Council, I guess we're ready to vote.
Tony, I do not vote, correct?
You can vote.
Absolutely, you get to vote.
Mr. President, the Vice President for the 2024-2025 board term is Director Grywich.
Thank you. I offer my congratulations to Vice President Grywich. I think at this point, we move on to the next officer nomination, and that would be for the secretary. Are there any nominations for the secretary?
I would like to nominate Travis Johnson as secretary.
I second that.
Point of order, Mr. President. It's not, the president doesn't second nominations. That's for the rest of the body.
I will second that. I'll second the nomination.
I appreciate the nomination and the second. I decline. Thank you.
Okay. We have to open the nomination again for the secretary. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Izzy Santa for the position of secretary.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I accept.
Any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
You might want to inquire, Mr. President, as to if there are any other nominations, otherwise nominations are closed.
Yes, I did ask. There were no other nominations. I didn't hear anything. Nominations are not closed. We're ready to vote.
The auto correct on my phone, as soon as I type in SEC, is Secretary of State. So Izzy got a promotion to Secretary of State. Been hanging around the Department of State too long.
Mr. President, the secretary for the 2024-2025 board term is Ms. Santa. Director Santa, pardon me.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe we've got one more nomination to go through, and that's for the treasurer. Are there any nominations for the treasurer?
I would like to nominate. May I make a nomination?
Please.
I would like to nominate Jennifer Juszczyk for treasurer.
I'd like to second that.
I appreciate the nomination and your trust in me, but I decline.
Since this is my first meeting as the president, am I allowed to make a nomination?
Your presiding officer, Mr. President, presiding officer tries to stay out of it and allow the rest of the board to make the nominations.
That wasn't the question. Is he allowed?
The better practice of Robert's rules is the presiding officer doesn't make nominations. That's what Robert's rules would tell you to do.
Right. However, it is not disallowed by Robert's rules.
Tony, can you settle this for us, please?
Well, Mr. Champ is not the parliamentarian, he's counsel.
We don't have a parliamentarian.
I understand, I raised a point of order. So that's up to Mr. Mopar to rule on the point of order. The better practice is for the presiding officer not to make nominations or not to vote. You have the citation at the bottom of your minutes. So if someone has a nomination, I can't believe that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other people don't have a nomination for treasurer. It's my understanding that the thought was that Mr. Petrine would continue as treasurer. If someone wants to make that nomination, they're free to do so, and we can go home.
Point of order here, Director Farrell.
Yep.
As the presiding officer, I would like to make some comments here. And my comment is that I would like somebody to make a nomination for Bob Petrine to carry on as the member, non-director treasurer.
I will nominate Bob Petrine to carry on as the non-member treasurer, please.
I will second the nomination.
Are there any nominations? Having heard none, nominations are closed. We'll vote.
Did Mr. Petrine
Is Bob
accept?
accepting it?
Yeah. He doesn't have to. All he does is reject it if he doesn't want it.
Well, he doesn't have a mic though, so we kind of have to ask him.
You okay?
I'll do it.
I'm sorry, did Bob agree to this nomination or?
He did.
Thank you.
Mr. President, the treasurer for the 2024-2025 board term is Mr. Petrine.
Thank you.
Jalal, I have a question when you get a chance.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Can someone clarify, because I know Bob has applied to be on fiscal committee, can he be treasurer and be on fiscal at the same time? Because normally treasurer votes on fiscal, and then a committee member also votes on fiscal. So does that mean he gets 2 votes?
Court's indulgence.
And to be honest, like, you don't have to answer that question tonight. It would be the next time we are coming up to vote for Bob being on fiscal that it would really apply. Or before Wednesday's meeting. Next
I
Wednesday.
can have him answer first thing tomorrow, if not.
That sounds good.
No, yeah, not at all.
Okay, thank you, Director Juszczak. I believe the next item is appointment of Assistant Secretary. And I'm looking at my material here, and I believe that's a motion that is done by the President, correct?
No, that's an election.
That's just the person who presides over the topic that's listed.
Okay. So how do we proceed with this?
Mr. Chair, you could ask for a motion to that effect to be made by one of your fellow directors.
Okay.
I move that our president serve as chair for this topic. Is that the appropriate motion? No?
No, you would move to appoint Brittany Copeland as the Assistant Secretary.
I would move to appoint Brittany Copeland to serve as assistant secretary.
I'd be happy to second that.
I just sent you the secretaries.
Any discussion?
Director Johnson, seconded, President Lepar.
Again, I apologize for my,
I'm sorry?
He asked for discussion.
Oh.
So any discussion?
Wonderful connection. Is this?
again, I apologize for my internet connection.
Some screen so everybody can see it.
We just have raised our hands for that, right?
Maybe share the screen
That's
on.
all.
Again, I apologize for my internet connection from this area here, but if you can hear me, if there is no discussion, I think we're ready to vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against?
The
The motion is approved.
We need.
You
we
need to Director Perry's.
vote.
Director Perry voted. Tony has it.
Oh, this one is an open vote, Margaret. This is just.
The answer is yes. Sorry, Brittany.
Director Perry wrote aye. Mr. President, may I be heard on the next item, please?
If I am reading this correctly, please correct me if I am not. The next order that I see is Secretary's Certificate,
Yes, it is.
and that's you, General Counsel.
Yes, this is the document that we have signed by the President, Vice President, and CEO annually. It's basically a corporate document that says you can sign for the corporation. I would ask a simplified motion of what's in your packet, move to approve the Secretary's certificate as presented.
And I'm listing the officers.
So moved.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Can someone second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. Council, do we take a vote on this as well?
I'm sorry, Mr. President, you broke up there.
I apologize. Do we take a vote now?
I believe it was unanimous. Yes. Motion passes, Mr. President. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was asking, do we take a vote now?
Motion is passed.
Okay, thank you. If you can hear me, according to the agenda, the next item is distribution of conflict of interest forms. General Counsel?
Yes. You all should have received from me an email today, a conflict of interest disclosure that's required by our internal resolutions. It's, as you know, pursuant to the deed, if a director votes on a item in which they have a material interest, conflict of interest, they are deemed to have resigned. This is more of a safe harbor, covering some of the major areas that could come up as a material conflict of interest. If you have any questions, please contact me. Please have the form filled out by the next board meeting, which will be the April 25th meeting. Send it to me. But absolutely err on the side of caution. If you have a question, give me a call.
Counsel, I did not receive your email today, so I'm just going to ask that you send it again so that I can address it in a timely manner. Thank you.
Is your BOD email sufficient, or is there no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get it there.
I didn't get it either, so there might be an email issue.
I didn't either.
We've been having email
Everybody.
issues,
I
so
did not get it either. I did not get it either.
Very good. I'll
I
look
got
at
mine,
it.
Tony.
Margaret.
Gold star.
Slides there.
I will take it up with IT.
thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the 2024 board calendar and look ahead, and that's by our CEO, Mr. Cummins.
I don't have anything for you specifically tonight. We're still looking at, as we transition into the study session format, so having two gatherings of the board. You all may recall that we determined that we would do one of those as a study session, generally non-action items, and then one in a more traditional format that you're used to. So we're looking at populating those meetings. So look for that. You all gave feedback that as part of the budget process, you're looking to have more presentations on operating budgets, which we did not do last year, so some of those may slide in. And then there's some other topics that have come up. So on the April 26th meeting, we don't have, 25th, we don't have a whole lot for you. There's some contracts that you're likely to see, and we'll try to make sure we get those into the folder at the right time. That's all. Erwin?
I know that you have regular meetings with Supervisor Alcorn, and in the past, we've had updates. Could you provide us with an update as to the issues that are being discussed and what positions have been taken and that kind of thing?
Sure. So we've updated you by email a couple of times. If you'd like, we can certainly put together a quick memo as an informational thing, but whatever works for the board, I'm happy to pass that along.
Thank you.
We didn't have a BAC meeting, and we're moving to the new format. So how are we getting an agenda for the April meeting?
So the resolution that you all adopted maybe 2 meetings ago now says that the board president and the CEO will set the agenda. Obviously, I have not had a meeting with the board president yet to talk about what that process will look like. There was some discussion around trying to set aside some time potentially at one of the study sessions to talk about upcoming board meetings and board input on what those topics would look like. So I plan to meet with President Mapar quickly, understanding that he's out of the country, to try to figure out what will look like for the next meeting or two.
Okay, I'll go back and reread it. I thought it said draft agenda and that the board adopts the agendas, but that's fine. At least we'll have one.
Can you speak up?
I thought that the resolution said that the president and the CEO would adopt or come up with the draft agenda and that the board accepts the agenda. So that's why I was asking. But
I will
we have an
clarify.
agenda. I had some things from a previous BOC that didn't move forward. So I just want to make sure that they get on the list.
One of the things that I've talked to you all about is trying to keep an agenda forward list going. So as you're all thinking about prioritization of lots of items that are fighting for agenda time. So I would like to start that. So just to make sure we stay on top of things, because the BOC process used to be the kind of backstop for all those kinds of things. So I'm just going to start creating that list. If you have those things, please send them to me. In the meantime, I'll double check the resolution on the setting.
Cool, thanks.
President Mapar, Director Perry has her hand up.
I know. Director Perry, bear with me for 1 second. For all of my fellow board members here, I will be back in the country April 17th, which is next week.
Yes.
And as soon as I get back, I would like to sit down with our CEO to discuss the agenda and everything else. And we'll make sure that we share everything with you as soon as we go through that, even if it's in draft mode. Director Perry, you've got your hands up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, and I'm sure that staff is on it, but some of the suggestions that were made when we looked over that board meeting timeline was that the dates didn't line up properly or were kind of askew. And I just, I'm pretty sure you guys are on top of that, but I just want to put that reminder out there that we double check all those dates.
Okay, thank you.
Just so I clarify, Director Perry, are you referring to the budget calendar discussion that we had at the last meeting?
Now you're asking for a lot, Mac. Whenever, I believe it was at the last meeting, and we were given a couple different draft calendars, and there were some dates in at least one of them that were not quite lined up right. That was budget, but it included the board meeting.
Yes, thank you, Director Perry. We did adjust for all those things and sent out the new calendar. One date that doesn't necessarily affect the board, but we identified after the board voted on the budget calendar that one of the fiscal committee meetings that was shown on that was shown on Juneteenth, which obviously will not happen. So we're talking to Dave Kerr and the fiscal committee about shifting that a day or two either direction.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. I believe we've reached the end of our agenda for this meeting. Before we adjourn, I would like to make a few comments as the incoming new president for Reston Association. First of all, I would like to thank Director Farrell and Director Juszczak for their service to the board and all of their hard work. I think it goes without saying that they have spent hours, long hours, and they have helped the community. They have been very effective for RA. And as mentioned last night during the annual members meeting, the list of accomplishments are just phenomenal. I hope to carry in their shoes, footprints, whatever, and do similar things. And in working with the rest of you, including our newest board member, Izzy Santa, to make sure that we provide great service to the community and make sure Casino gets defeated again, and we do good things for the community. Number two, as the incoming president, obviously speaking from the other side of the pond and with internet problems and so on, I appreciate your indulgence to bear with me as we go through this transition. And I am asking Director Farrell and Director Juszczyk to please work with me to go through a transition period to ensure that we're not missing anything, that I'm not changing anything that has been already established. And number three, I am asking all of my fellow board members to please work as a team, and we're all in this together. And our responsibility is to the community. We're accountable to the members. So we need to make sure that we set aside our personal agendas, and I'm going to make that very, very strong. It's my focus. We need to put our personal agendas aside and focus on working as a team to serve the community. We all need to do this together. After I get back next week, I will reach out to all of you, board members, and our CEO, and sit down with you and just listen to your thoughts and ideas and suggestions. Director Juszczyk spent a lot of time collecting information from the board members about their wishes, about their interests in committees, working groups, etc. I have that, and when I come back, we will discuss that and try to meet your desires as best as possible to make sure that you get on the right committees and working groups, etc. Having said all of that, I really appreciate your time, and more than anything else, I appreciate your trust in me to be the president for 2024-25. And thank you very much.
I have a question. Since the decisions will not be made on the assignment of committees until you're back and presumably shortly thereafter, there are committee meetings that take place in the interim. How are those to be handled?
We will carry business as usual based on the way we've been operating. And all we're doing is we're basically looking at 1 week here. So I don't think 1 week is going to affect anything.
Mr. President, the appointments that have been made continue until someone is appointed, a successor is appointed. So fundamentally, carry on business as usual is my understanding of our resolutions and our bylaws and our deed. If somebody has a contrary understanding, I invite them to express it.
Thank you, Director Farrell, and that was my understanding as well. That's why I said we carry on business as usual.
President Mapar, may I make one additional comment?
Please, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I'm sure you meant to include our outgoing Secretary, Travis Johnson, and our outgoing but remaining Treasurer, Bob Petrine, for their efforts during the past year, as well as the generous acknowledgement you gave to our President and Vice President.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that input. Yes, I would be remiss if Director Johnson, and thank you very much for your service, and please, you're not going anywhere.
Thanks.
You're going to be involved in all of these things. Thank you. Okay. I believe at this point we've conducted all of our business and we're ready to adjourn. So I declare the meeting adjourned.